What's up, Internet Land? Zachamus Prime, aka Zachamus Prime, here with a Transformers review. And the figure that I'm talking about today is not just any Transformer. I am going to be talking about the Haslab Omega Prime. I am splitting this into 3 reviews. One of Optimus Prime, one of Ultra Magnus, and one of the combined Omega Prime. So I want to preface this by saying that Omega Prime, this pair of figures has been one of my favorite figures for like 25 years almost. And I can scarcely explain just how super happy I was to see it as a Haslab, and I backed that so fast, and how super happy I am with it in hand. Now, I do understand that it is going through a time of turmoil. A lot of people have had issues with there being some cracking on the part here. I didn't sustain any damage, though I did find that my figure definitely needed a little bit of work to get everything into proper tolerance. But it was about 10 minutes with a screwdriver and a piece of sandpaper. And I definitely hope that everyone who has issues with this figure gets their issues resolved. But for those of you who don't have issues yet, like, take 10 minutes and a screwdriver and some sandpaper and fix that so it never becomes a problem. Because that's the way to go. It's like I've been telling people, in a perfect world, we should not have to deal with that. I get that. But like, we don't live in the perfect world. We live in the current world where all we can do is take that 10 minutes ourselves, and hope that everyone who has an issue has got it fixed. So yeah, I would share how that's done, but I know that there's like 50 people out there who've got YouTube videos on, oh, this is how to fix your Omega Prime. So they've all got that taken care of. I'm just gonna focus on my thoughts on this guy, and holy shit, do I have thoughts on this guy. It is astounding. First of all, it's probably most poignant to compare it with the original. There's the original, and he just talk about a fucking glow up, man. It's just like, that is a pretty astounding that's a pretty astounding thing. There's a lot of things. So again, I've really loved this figure for a lot of years. In fact, this is the one that I've had for a lot of years, and it is well loved. And there's some things about it that I really, 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 really like, and have always liked, and probably will always like. But like, this guy does all of that, and does it better. Like, it's been specifically, engineered to take advantage of the last 25 years of design experience, which this figure, we didn't go through those 25 years when it was designed, So, but yeah, there's just so many things. I mean, starting with the hip ratchets, for example. That's just a minor thing, right? But like, this is the figure that first made me decide that I hated ratchets, because like, his arms are in like this position, and you can slide them in between the detents. But like, and then his legs were always such an issue, and they're an issue here, but like, they're even more of an issue in the combined mode, because of the way the detents are. He's either standing solidly like this, or like that. And that stance is way too wide to make this work, especially when you've got it all combined up. There's just it wants to do the splits, it wants to fall over, it wants to all sorts of other stuff. And you can't really put it in because then it's not stable, and it wants to click like that. So now he's doing this like contrapposto pose, and it's just like, this is an issue. I remember taking the whole like hip structure apart and taking a close look at all of these and seeing if there's something that I can do to make them work better, to make them work the way they're supposed to, the way they should have been designed. And no, the short answer is no, there wasn't. I just have had to live with it. It's mostly just been standing on my shelf, so. But yeah, look, we've got issues with the tires split. This figure is famous for the tires cracking and splitting over time. I think I've got, this is the most egregious split I think I have. But I definitely have got cracks in some of my other ones. You can maybe even see the crack on that one. Just stuff like that. It just... This figure is a good figure, but it's got issues, and it shows its age. Yeah. This figure is perfect. And that's not something that I say lightly. Like, this figure is amazing. It's fantastic. It does exactly what it's supposed to do. And I know at this point there's a lot of people screaming at, oh, it's not perfect, it's got a manufacturing defect. Manufacturing defect aside, because first of all, we've all got to cling to the belief that Hasbro is going to replace the ones that came broken. And second of all, if yours hasn't broken, it's such an easy thing to fix. I'm just not even, it's going to be a non-starter for me. So it's perfect. It's so good. It's got just, the proportions are better. The joint structure is better. The ratchets are better. It's got more detents in its ratchets. It's so good. This is one of those figures that I always dread reviewing because I love it so much that everything that I say about it just sounds like I'm just fucking glazing this figure. And you know what? Valid. But just, I'm not being metaphorical when I say that this figure is amazing. It's good from top to bottom. And even it's little things like this. There's, this little gun here, right? And there's a peg right here. That peg doesn't do anything. It doesn't do anything in either the vehicle mode or the robot mode or the combined mode. All it does is holds that gun. And it's great because on this guy, I've generally resorted to plugging into the back of the shoulder because there's no real place to store this. Like, what are you going to do? It's like, throw it in there maybe? Sure. But like, and this is one of the things that also boggled me is that there is a peg that gets used for vehicle mode here. And there's a little hole on the side of that gun, and they absolutely could have made it so that it fits in there. And they didn't. And it was really kind of frustrating. Even as a kid, and I say as a kid because I was in my 20s, but even when I was a younger man, like, that was something that bothered me because it seemed like such an easy fix. They fixed it. The tires are plastic now. They've removed a lot of the spring-loaded gimmicks. It doesn't have the voice box anymore. Like, all the things about it that I like. didn't really appreciate. They fixed all of that. And then there's just a million different things, and they're all like these tiny little improvements all over. The way the structure is set up, it's got a butterfly joint, and like in addition to the ratcheted shoulder here, it's got more shoulder posing. Like you can get like this like aggressive stance to the shoulders, and this just going from this to this makes such a difference in just the shelf presence of this figure. Just restancing the shoulders, it makes a difference, and it's good. I can't even just like, I'm just sitting here waxing poetic about this thing. I just love it. I love it. Little details like the way they put in these panels to kind of cover that up. I think that's cool. The way they added in an extra joint here in the hand. It doesn't do much, but it does stuff, and that's better than nothing. I like that. It's a minor thing that doesn't cost them anything extra, and it has some benefit to it. The fact that it's got freaking ankle tilts is just fantastic. Little gimmicks like the neck. The neck slides back and forth. Like in robot mode, it slides forward just a little bit, so that it just kind of fixes the proportions just a little bit. But it's got an ab crunch. I'm getting ahead of myself because I am going to go through a posability segment on this, but there's just so much about this figure that I love. So much. And let's talk about accessories. So in terms of accessories, there really only is, he's got this little gun here, which he uses in his regular prime mode. And then I'm going to count it as an accessory. He comes with this little Cerebros. And this is one of the headmasters from the Titans Return line. I think this is just a straight up repaint of the Cerebros that came with Fort Max. But I could be wrong on that. And I had understood that part of the reason why they rescaled this guy, because of course you can see he is slightly taller than the original, is that like, yeah, we're going to make it so it's a bigger scale so that it'll fit with this dude. So you can stick him up there, and that's it. That's all you do with that guy. That's the only thing that guy does. But because he only does it on this robot mode, then that's why I'm considering an accessory for that. But let's talk real quickly about his posability. So going from the top of the head, his head is on a ball joint. That ball joint is connected to a hinge, and actually a series of hinges. So he can look down a lot. He can look up. Let's get his head looking up. Come on, fit back on. You can look up a bit. Of course, rotate. The little collar is a little bit weird, but if we put it in the right pose, then if you put this hinge joint in the right position, then it's really hardly a thing at all. In his shoulders, like I mentioned, he's got this butterfly joint. The shoulder does go all the way around. It comes out. If you raise this up, you can bring it out a bit more. He does have a ratcheted joint here. He's got a bicep joint. It's all the way right at the top of the elbow. A single bend at the elbow for about 90 degrees. His wrists have got a swivel and a joint for flexing in and out. Your thumb is just on a simple hinge here, and the four fingers, all of them, are on a simple hinge here. His waist, he's got a waist joint and an ab crunch. His legs will have the nice ratchets. These are definitely the workhorses of this setup. Well, it went forward that much. It goes backwards this much. It comes out for the full Van Damme. He's got a thigh swivel. He's got a single ratcheted knee for a little less than 90 degrees of bend. He does actually have a joint just below that knee joint as well. Ankle tilt. There's some toe movement here, and in fact, there's even a toe joint, which kind of surprised me. I don't know why it's there, but I'll take it. I forgot to mention on his ladder yadder. Extra points if you know what that's from. He just tried to assassinate the old one. This comes around, though I should probably actually more talk about it in vehicle mode. But I do want to stress out and point out that this does work as like a shoulder, over-the-shoulder cannon for him. You can pop out these little guns here. Oh yeah, I guess this guy can also come and stand in this basket. So he doesn't have any pegs in there, so like he doesn't do anything. There's a lot of detail on this. Man, that would be a perfect storage space if it, closed up at all. There's a lot of detail on this basket. Because on the original, there's practically no detail. Of course, the original had a spring-loaded gimmick. Oh, he's falling apart. Also, these are on ball joints. I'm not sure why. Because they'll really only come out and bend down. But, there's not a whole lot to be said for that. They don't do anything when they bend down. So, I don't know. I almost want to say it's for the base mode. But, for the base mode, you can just tilt this whole thing. So, hey, get out of there, man. One of the things about his robot mode, you don't have to fold up the end of this anymore to make it fit. That's cool, I guess. In terms of accessories, though, I forgot to mention he does come with this little matrix, which is removable. I don't seem to know where my spudger went, so I'm going to hope that the toothpick method works. There we go. That just pops out. It's molded in clear plastic with a little bit of transparent green and some metallic gray. It's interesting when you look at it from the back, you can really see how that layering works. The green went on first and the silver went on top of that. And that just kind of wedges in there. But he's still got the little targeting thing, and he's got the, like, what's this, hot stamped foil on there. It looks so good. This thing looks amazing. Let's get him decombined. So we're just going to crack these open. This attaches, the whole thing just only attaches with these two pegs here. So you don't have to open them up before you pull it out, but actually you do, don't you? Because this little tab plugs into that little slot, and that didn't happen before. Which is, again, another bonus thing that just adds to the stability of that. That really makes that fit in a bit better. I like that. I like it. I like it so much. We're going to disconnect this. It tabs in with this big clip here. These little tabs here, it's mostly just sits there. It really sits on this clip here on the front, and then it's got another clip on the backpack. This clip here goes onto the backpack, and that's really what holds it on. These are purely incidental, to be honest. Crank these open, pull that off. It's got these little tabs that tab into the shoulder, and then it's just a simple peg. And then, last but not least, we'll take off the feet. It's got a peg here on the front of the shin, and then it's got a peg on the foot. It actually has a peg, and then it clips. This peg is mostly just for alignment, because you can see that's a really shallow peg. It's mostly the clips that make it work, that put the sauce on the gravy, or however that expression works. And then we're going to come around, we're going to take off his little gun here. This part is going to extend out. And you're going to fold this up and collapse it back down. This is going to collapse in. This is the issue, by the way, that these figures had, is this this gray piece right here. It was made a little bit too wide. Maybe it was a molding issue, possibly flash or whatnot. There was a mold line that moves along there. Or it could have just been improperly designed. But yeah, people were having issues with that little piece in there. And it was breaking stuff and causing too much stress. Sometimes just when they pull it straight out of the box, hadn't transformed it yet. So that is a big issue, but you just take this whole thing. There's a screw hole, by the way. There's a screw here, here, and here. And then this comes apart. And then there's a screw here, 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 and then on the other side as well. And you take those 6 screws off. You'll fold the arms back, and then the whole thing just lifts off, and that separates out the front of this torso from the back, and then you can access this gray piece here. If you want to, you can actually disassemble it further by taking off these 2 screws here, and then that'll allow you to just pull off this one piece by itself and then run it on some sandpaper, which is what I did, and it all worked out really well. But to get back to transformation, slide his arms back together. We're gonna open these up a little bit and then open this panel out, fold out his head, which will also slide forward. Angle these up. These are not fixed in here. They just come out. So you will find as you turn these around and whatnot, it's really easy for them to work out. So just be aware of that. One of the things that you can do on this figure that you couldn't do on the original. Oh, by the way, let's flip out his heels because he's got heels. Fantastic. One of the things that you can do on this figure that you couldn't do on the original is you can slide these back to more expose his hands, which is a cool, it's a cool thing that you can do. I think this looks great. Yeah, he's got the thunder thighs going on. But that's mostly because, you know, there's figures that you look at it and they've got the intention alt modes, the intention modes, and the like afterthought modes. This one is a little bit more of an afterthought. Like, you'd have to make some considerations to make the combined mode work properly, which are going to have the repercussions in here. One of them is that he's got just Pixar thighs. But I mean, he still looks great. And there he is compared to the original. With his little gun. Stand it, damn you. See, I shouldn't be having any issues with this. This one's all actually pretty solid. No, why does he want to tip? This guy does have a lot of chrome on him. This whole thing was chrome. And then they put red on this part here, red lacquer, and then blue paint. The head sculpt on this guy is more like angular. And it just looks so good. So damn good. I'm in love with this figure. Also, I never really stored this in any kind of an obnoxious way, but I feel like I guess what I'm getting at is I always feel like the white on this guy was a little bit off-white. But like standing next to this stark white, it really does look a little bit more yellowed than I thought it would have been. So interesting. But this guy, he's going to have most of the same posability. So he's got a ball joint on his head and it swivels. And his arms go around on the same hinge and they move up on the same hinge and they ratchet out on the same hinge, and he's got the same bicep swivel and the same elbow joint. He only has a swivel for the wrists, which is, you know, he's got the same waist swivel. You can still make use of that ab crunch. It'll kind of pull out his spinal column a bit. The hips are the same hips as they were before with the same swivels, the same swivel, and then he's got a ball-jointed ankle. And so, but one of the things is that because of the joints are done really well, like he can stand straight, he can stand, and they're nice and solid joints. And so he can pull off some like really wide dynamic poses. And granted, his toes aren't really like keen on that sort of thing. But, you know, he'll do his duty like a good Optimus Prime should. Come on. Work with me, buddy. I just dig it. For the rest of this figure, well, we'll just park him back there for a second. We'll stand him where he's a little bit less likely to topple over. There we go. For the rest of this mode, you can turn this into a base mode. And if you've watched this channel for any appreciable amount of time, you know how I feel about base modes. If you haven't watched this channel for any appreciable amount of time, I think they suck. I have yet to meet a base mode that I like. And that just comes down to the fact that base modes just kind of suck. And we'll flip that up. And we'll put this guy. These are completely ambidextrous, so I'm just going to use the one that... And then you've got a peg slot. You got a hole on the side of that. That'll peg into there. And then you'll do the same with the other side. Go like that, go like that, go like that, go like that. Rotate that. Plug that in. Plug that into the hole in the peg. And then you'll take his big ass tower. And you'll crank that all the way around and rotate it. And then this plugs into, you've got these 4 holes right here. And you've got 4 pegs down here. The gray ones, not the red ones. And there's the base mode, and it is stupid. Maybe this fits up, maybe? I don't know. You can take this dude, and you can seat him in there still. And the fingers are not guns, and these guns are still guns, and these guns on his head are guns. And there's the thing. And at the very top, you've got this part and guns. One of the things I will say about this is that those are 5mm peg holes, blast effect compatible. I don't know that these are blast effect compatible. I don't think that either of these are, but like that is, I'd bet my life on that. And when we pull these out, I'm pretty certain that is blast effect compatible. I don't have any blast effects because I actually don't have most of that line, because I don't have most of that line. But anyhow, let's get it changed into its fire truck mode. Let me get all this moved out of the way. So what we're going to do to start with this Optimus Prime, we're going to slide this panel forward, straighten out his arm, and then slide it back and slide in his fist. It will click into place. If it doesn't click into place, monkey around with it until it does. Click. I'm going to fold this all the way. No, I'm going to leave this out because this has to come back. Slide that head back. Fold this in. Close that up. I'm just going to fold these back for now. These are going to fold back and they'll kind of tab into place. This one as well. There is this flap here that has got these 2 little hooks that go into these divots. You want to take and pull this out so that it extends fully. Straighten his legs. Straight. Come around to the back. Open up these flaps here. Oh, that looks like a face, doesn't it? There's a big fat nose, and there's a mouth, and there's little eyes. Does this one have a face? Have I never noticed this in my entire life? No, he does not have a face. on his meaty calves. Fold in these heels, open this panel up. This is going to flip around, close that up. It's interesting getting into this transformation because it is mostly the same. Again, if you've watched this channel for a while, you know that I'm notorious for doing all of my stuff without reading the instructions. I basically never read the instructions. I am the typical man. But like, I didn't really need to follow the instructions, but there were a few things that threw me at first. Like, for example, because his hips, his thighs are so stinking thick, this little design and details on the end of his wheel no longer fits. So what they have done is they've made a separate piece here. This piece actually is also attached with a 5mm. I'm sure that's 5mm. It's not 5mm. It's attached with a peg. And then it's got like a little circle on the underside. And then this little hex will snap over that boss in the middle of that disc brake feature. And that's what registers it in place. But you want to take this and fold this out 90 degrees. Put this in. There's this tab here that you got to be mindful of. And then once this is in place, you got to push this up the rest of the way. And we'll do the same for the other side. So bring that out 90 degrees. Mind that tab. Bring this up. You can take his gun, slot it into place with the wheel facing down. And there he is in his vehicle mode. Fantastic. I kid. I'm a kidder. I kid. Alright, let's put this off to the side. We'll take this, and this is all just going to get disassembled really quick. Unpeg, unpeg, unpeg. Actually, that? No. Also unpeg. I forgot to mention. Crap. I forgot to mention that there's a mode that you can do where you can chunk these on the shoulders. And they just attach with this peg here. I keep on forgetting about that because that's not something that I ever really did. As I recall, it's not even something that he did in the show, except maybe once or twice. Not counting the opening sequence. In the opening animation, he does that. I'm not sure what these pegs are for. They're the wrong size for that. Huh. I don't know. But you'll want to take this and fold this over. And then that goes like so, and that goes like so. Generally, my strategy when it comes to transforming this guy is I'll take a gauntlet, a shoulder, and a boot, right? And I'll have them all pegged together like this. It's not even the same this way. I'll have them all pegged together like that, and then I'll take the two halves and I'll go with this in the middle. That doesn't really work here. Or does it? No, it does not. Well, maybe. Oh my, it might work. I'm going to try it out. We're going to do something new. So these slide into, I mean, they're designed to be able to press in, and I'm sure, yeah, they do. and then this little tab comes around here. I prefer to just slide them in, and then that tab slides over. You want to have the back of the hand facing this gun little thing here, and that folds up, that folds up, that folds up. You want to leave these flaps hanging wide. So let's see if this works. And we'll just take this. When you plug this in, you want to be mindful of this tab. This is the magic tab now. That will plug into this slot right here. Like that. Except the issue that I'm going to say that I think that I find with this is that once I get this all put together, well, I didn't get that tab in properly. Oh, there we go. And then plug that in. Boom. Boom. Slide this. Probably would have been best if I did it first. The head will slide back. That'll allow it to fold into the space more efficiently. But I think the issue that I find with this is that, yeah, see these tabs right here, they are not going to want to just press in. Well, it was a clever idea, I thought maybe. The easier way to do this is to plug. So these little notches are going to slide right onto those, like so. And then that will allow this to come around that. And then you can close this over the side, but you don't want to close it quite yet. We'll put on the other one. And then we'll close up these tabs right here on the top and the bottom. And then you want to take these and do just like we discussed earlier, where you slide them over those little tabs, put these tabs in those slots, close this up on the bottom, and then do the same for the other side. And then you're just going to bring this up here and then close this over the side. Those will plug in and everybody's happy. And there he is in his vehicle mode, and it is really good. One of the things I want to stress is just how solid this feels. Like you can sit and hold it at the very extremities and flex it this way, and it doesn't really go anywhere. You can twist it, and you'll see some torsional stress in there, but like flex it. It doesn't it's solid. It's solid and it rolls well. All the tires are pinned. And I mean, like, by comparison, this thing, it creaks like an old man. And if I recall correctly, it's always creaked like an old man, even back when it was brand new. Yet it's always flexed. You know? And I mean, I'm not sitting here to talk shit about this vehicle mode. I mean, it's great. You can push that and flip out all of his little doohickeys. But it just... I'm really in love with the update. This is the same sort of mentality that I have. A lot of people are nostalgic about G1, and I've never been nostalgic about G1. If I can get a better version of a figure, then I'll go for it. This one doesn't have the springs, but you can pull all these out. I do like that these aren't missiles that launch. That way they're never going to get lost. Like, you know, somebody I know. But yeah, it looks so good. In this mode, of course, you can also turn this around. This will click up and down, and this will... Come on, slide for me. There we go. This will slide out to quite an incredible extension. No, it doesn't want to go back in. There we go. It's fantastic. I love it. It's so good. It's so good. It may be my favorite Transformer I've ever gotten. I like the angular aspect of this. Oh, my tire's coming off. Oh, my poor guy. My poor boy. Like, it's got like a little bit more of like an aggressive cut to this. You know, these kind of swoop in a little bit, and this kind of comes down a little bit, and you know, there's some angle to this. I do like that they maintained this little doohickey where it's just got the graphic on the one side and on the other side. I also like that he has a C0001, something that this guy never did. Just the little details like that. And that's one of the things that really... God, I just love how solid this thing feels when you shake it around, shake it like a dog. Is just the little details. There's so many little details and they're all good. They all work out. I think that most people would be hard-pressed to look at this and be like, okay, here's something that it doesn't do as well. And I guess that's a subjective thing because, you know, there are people who are going to be like, yeah, well, this isn't spring-loaded, therefore it's not as good as the original in that aspect. But, for someone who feels the way I feel, that's a benefit. Some people are going to complain about the rubber tires, that there's no rubber tires. The rubber tire technology has advanced enough that they should have been able to put rubber tires on it that, you know, are not going to degrade in, you know, 10 years or 20 years or 25 years. But again, because I have so many experiences of tires degrading, I am very tire shy of rubber tires for pretty much everything except for my car, you know. There are things that someone could complain about if they were really nitpicking, but I am I'm not nitpicking. I'm in love with this toy. It's fantastic. I love it. This video is almost an hour long, and I really only talked about this one guy. So tune in next time for Ultra Magnus. If you watched through this far, thank you very much. You are fantastic. Everybody stay awesome and be good to each other. See ya.